Everyone, Glenn Sanford here, and this is the Expansion Podcast, a podcast on personal professional development here at eXp Realty. And today I'm excited to have a conversation with Danielle Dunham. She's a three-time ICON agent out of Detroit, Michigan. And Danielle, how are things going?
It's going good. It's going good.
So I'm doing this one a slight bit different. I figured I'd just, get to know you instead of before the podcast, actually during the podcast,
Okay.
um, like what's your superpower? Like maybe just tell me a little bit about you. Like where are you from? What got you into real estate? All that kind of stuff. And what are some things you're super proud of your in your career so far?
So I'm from Metro Detroit. I grew up in a small city called Oak Park, Michigan. I actually am a second generation realtor. So I grew up in real estate. So when people ask me how long you been a realtor, I'm like, all my life. I've been licensed for over 7 years, but I didn't get into it until 2016. And that was after I went to college and was in the health field and corporate America. And I was going to buy my first house. So I bought my first house and I kind of was like, oh, I kind of missed this. I should get my license. And I got my license again. But I grew up in real estate. I grew up being a kid, going to showings with my dad, going to mortgage companies, sitting in the office after school. So I was a real estate kid.
Okay.
And yeah, and when I became an adult, I just followed through with it.
Okay. So what's your favorite memory around growing up around real estate? And maybe follow up would be like, what's your least favorite memory as a kid about real estate?
So one of my favorite memories was my dad used to do like these seminars, right? And so it was like this local hotel, and he would do like, encouraging people to buy homes and things like that. And he did a seminar at a neighborhood hotel, and he had so many different speakers there. And I remember I was just passing out the flyers, and it was just so fun. We got to stay there overnight. And I was just like, oh, wow, a lot of people know my dad. Like, it was kind of like a wow, you see your parent as one person, and then you see that people see them as something else. I was like, oh, he's really important. That's when I, kind of really realized it.
So he's a little bit of a celebrity.
Yeah, he got those people out. He did. I think at that time, we didn't have social media, so he did like a lot of radio ads. So it was like the radio stations was kind of talking about it on the radio and stuff. So it was pretty good. So I seen him take real estate, a different level.
Right. And then I'll offer up mine first, not because my dad was in real estate, but he was a business guy. But I would get bored out of my gourd sitting in his office waiting for him to be done. So that was my least favorite memory about sort of doing work stuff with my dad. But I mean, there was lots of other good stuff. I got to put like labels on honey things because we were in the honey and granola business. But anything that drove you sort of nuts as a kid?
The office thing, because I would be in that office. So I get out of school, get there about 4, and we could be there at 10 o'clock at night. And then it's like me, my younger siblings. So we just in there, he giving us money for lunch. We didn't have lunch and dinner. So the office thing, I definitely can sympathize with the office thing, being there all the time.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. It's like, can you do anything more? Like, aren't you done yet, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
So you you were in healthcare. What was you went to school for a healthcare degree? Or that was your background?
Healthcare administration. I was a healthcare analyst. I worked for the government, like Medicaid and Medicare. I worked for those companies.
Okay.
And
I
love what Which question?
You loved it, but you made the switch eventually.
I made the switch. I love what I do, but when I got to closing and helping people find homes, it was just more rewarding. And like I got into healthcare kind of patient focused a little bit more. I was kind of working hands in hands with people, and I got to a level where I was more corporate and more behind a computer. And I was like, no, I gotta figure this real estate thing all the way out because I really love the interaction with people, and I gotta get back to that. So that what
Oh
made
yeah,
me.
and you get yeah, and you get out and about, and you're not stuck in
Mhm.
one cubicle the whole time. Yeah, no, totally get it. So now, you've been at um, at least one other brokerage brand that I'm looking at, but what was it that attracted you to EXP?
So for me, my broker, my original broker, I just didn't really have a relationship. Like I really felt like I learned real estate on my own. Like I figured things out. I read contracts thoroughly. I really didn't have much help, and it wasn't a total bad thing because I actually think like that made me a stronger realtor. But I never had that connection that most people have. And I got to a point where I was ready to leave anyway. And I had a friend and they were talking about EXP. I was like, oh, I'll come hear about it. And I actually got recruited my first year in real estate to EXP. And I always think about
Oh, you
like, what
did?
if I joined in? Yes. I'm like, what if I would have joined in, but I was so new and I really didn't understand the concept, but I also didn't understand real estate at the time. So it wasn't even so much at EXP. It was really like, okay, well, I don't know about this. You don't have an office, that was the kind of thing. But as an experienced agent, being attracted to it, and when it was breaking down by the revenue share and the stock, I was like, oh yeah, it's a no brainer. I was not a hard person to recruit at all.
Oh, awesome. So now, what's been the most pleasant, I guess, surprise about EXP? And are there, similar to maybe growing up in real estate, what are your favorite things, and what are some things that we can maybe improve to just help it make it become even better?
Well, let's start. Well, my favorite thing about EXP, and I could tell you when I was like, oh, this is the place where I'm going to retire at. It was my first EXP con, and I went the first year I came. It was my first EXP con, and I had never been around such friendly realtors. I'll be honest with you. Like here, it's kind
Right?
of like everything is hush hush. You can't ask a question. Like I really, when I started, I had no one to ask a question. Everything was such a secret. When I went to EXPCon, I mean, just sitting, grabbing lunch or getting a coffee, we would have I would have conversations with different agents from all over, and they would just pour any and everything into me. I met some phenomenal people, like, and we still catch up to this day. It was just like everybody was family. Color didn't matter, anything. It was just such a family environment, and I've never been to something like that. That was so big, and the classes and the camaraderie. It was just wonderful to me. So that was like, oh, this is where I need to be. Like I just felt totally accepted. Things that we can work on. I don't really have anything negative to say. I haven't had a negative experience. I think one thing as being an EXP agent, we don't realize all the things you guys have to offer. I think we be so in our business that we don't take time to check work chat, or you don't take time to, go on workplace or see the classes. Like it's so much stuff. And like even now, like, winding down this year, I've been like tapping in and going to different things. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so much stuff that I could have been doing all year long. So I think that's just it. Like, I don't know how much more you guys can make it clear that we have this going on and that going on, but I just wish I was tapping in a little bit more to all the things you guys have to offer. You guys have so much. It's so much.
Oh, awesome. Well, no, thank you for that. We do have, that's probably the one thing that I hear more often than not, or indirectly, that same thing, which is that people don't know what all we have. And so a lot of times if they do have a challenge, it's that we haven't made it visible enough. So we're actually working on something. I'm not going to sort of announce it here, but Brian Ellington's working on something right now that sometime in the new year, it'll be deployed, and it should help people understand what we have available to us. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm just going to tease it out there
Okay, okay.
and see where it goes. Now, how do you how do you build your business? What's your, do you work a particular market? Do you lead generate in a particular way? Like, how do you generate the business that you work with?
So I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I am a realtor that really works my sphere. Like people around me, my social media, I've always been successful off my sphere. So lead generation to me is, content, is actually calling, it's actually going to events. I don't miss anything. Like most of my clients are all my Facebook friends or Instagram friends. So I'm constantly, happy birthday. Oh, you look cute today. Oh, wow. Oh, I like that couch. Like, oh, let me see the bed. How's your daughter doing? So I'm constantly in contact with my clients. It's not, I don't have to mail them out a letter. I know exactly what's going on with them. And to me, lead generation, I make sure I call 10 people a day. That is just always been my thing. And it may just be, I might try to call 10 people a day and I might be on the phone with one person for an hour, but I just try to reach out in some way to, 10 people. Also, messages, DM, sometimes you be busy. I DM, I send message. Also, I'm really, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Glenn, I really implemented KV Core. I want to say it's been about a year and a half. Like when I first started, I was like, because I wasn't really using the CRM then. I had a spreadsheet, a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and that's how I went through and see who I was going to talk to. So I really utilized that. And from there, I'm sending campaigns and things, reaching out to my clients, and they're coming back. And like I see that I have a lot of interaction. So, going in there, talking to clients about different things, sending emails or text messages. I just always, I'm such a people's person. I just always try to connect personally when it comes to lead generation. And it kind of works out. It kind of works out for me.
Oh, awesome. Well, now you mentioned obviously KV Core and getting off of Excel spreadsheets. But you also mentioned social media. Would you, curious, would you consider Facebook and Instagram a CRM?
I would in some ways because I had a period where I wasn't feeling well, so I was kind of often, not coming to work because I was sick. And I was able to go through all my messages and I just started writing them down and, like putting them on a list or whatever and start putting them in my CRM. And I realized it was so many people I didn't catch up with, but I had those old messages that I could actually go back to. And all I did, with my business page and things like that, I'm able to get my leads to go into KV Core now. So I'm trying to automate everything. I'm working on it where like if I do get leads from ads I did or anything like that, it's going into my KV Core and I can follow up that way.
Well, yeah, no, the reason why I ask is I think a lot of times people think that in order to have a CRM, it needs to be KV Core, Follow Up Boss, Real Geeks, whatever it is. But for those who are using social media, social media has a fair bit of CRM qualities to it. You're connected to them, you're having conversations there. You're dropping messages or posts or different things to create awareness, and so sometimes it's for some people it's actually more efficient to stay in their social media than to try to manage the CRM.
And I can see that. I can see that. I work both.
Yeah. So now, so your sphere, a lot of social. Do you have any sort of inbound strategy of new clients, or maybe it's the same thing? Maybe if people reach out to you from social, like do you have a new contact funnel, so to speak?
So I'm gonna still stick with social media because I get most of my clients from Facebook or Instagram, and I'm starting to get some from TikTok. I just started YouTube, and that's slowly getting there. I haven't got a lead from there yet, but I'm gonna stick with social media is my biggest lead source. But I just started a team about a year in for my team, so I have started to pay for leads and things for my team for newer business, but I still get a lot of business from my sphere or people that know me or know me just from social media. Some of my social media clients that I get never met them before, not recommended from a past client. They just know me and see my posts or things like that and they reach out.
Well, awesome. Now you said you just started a team. How has that been going? Building out your team and and have you got some initial learnings from that so far?
Yes, I have. So I started a team with the hopes of just being able to, okay, let me rephrase. I already was mentoring. I always was a mentor. I already was teaching classes. We have a small group, like basically of my downline, and we'll teach classes on Thursday. We kind of have do a little in-person thing just to kind of make it more family like. So I already was kind of doing the one-on-one with agents and helping them with their business. So I was like, okay, Danielle, it's time to take it to a different level. So when I started a team, it was good. I had 4 agents that I already were mentoring, and they were, hey, I'm starting a team. Would you like to be on it? Yes. So it wasn't a big thing with attracting agents. So I attracted the agents, and it was more so getting them into habits. I think that's my biggest struggle. I started off with 4 agents. Right now I'm at 12, and most of my agents, surprisingly, are new agents. So it's getting them, once I get them trained on just the basics of real estate, and you never can be fully trained, but just the basics of real estate, it's more so getting them into their daily habits that I feel like I struggle with. Hey, this is what I do. This is what we should be doing, and XYZ. So, and keeping them focused, I think that's another thing too. Like, you can do as much, but you can say things, you can motivate, but it's still got to be in the person on your team. It got to be in them. But it has been a good experience. I have seen, agents on my team went from not closing anything to closing multiple deals this year, double their sales price. I've seen all my new agents have, sold a house, or was seller or work with the buyer. They've been doing really good for their first year in real estate. So it's rewarding to see them grow. But it also makes me kind of sit back and say, like, what can I do for the next year? What can I do to grow them even more, or get them, a little bit more set onto their routines of what you need to do to be successful?
Oh, awesome. Now, what is now you're an icon, I think 3-time icon,
Yes.
with the XP. Is that right? Three time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is being an icon, or what does icon mean to you?
I feel like being an icon is what I have to be. Like, I want to say this correctly, but just basically that level of production is something that's my bare minimum for the year. Like, I need to be at that level every year to, reach my goals and everything. In Michigan, and especially Detroit metro area, we do a lot of deals. Our price points are a lot lower than the national, average. So, to get to 10 million for the year, you got to do about 50, 60 deals to get there, even with having some on a higher range and things like that. But it's more than likely, with our major city being Detroit, that you're going to sell a house for $100 or $150,000. That's just it. So production or volume, that's always what I did. I always did 50, 60 deals, a year. So when it comes to iconing, I just, it's a goal that I have to meet. I try to cap
Right.
as fast as I possibly can, because I don't like owing you guys any money.
Yeah.
And then, I just focus. I just lock in, like, okay, where I'm at. I watch my numbers constantly to make sure I get there. This year, actually, I iconed the fastest I ever had in the 3 years I've been with EXP. So I was really proud of myself.
Congratulations.
I kind of icon almost at my anniversary date, but I was able to icon, I believe this year I iconed in like June or July, and my anniversary date is December.
Okay. Wow. So you got like 4 or 5 months of 100%, and then obviously it's or 100%, and you got your icon awards. So congratulations. So that's a lot of, obviously, real estate transactions as an individual agent. How many deals do you have in escrow at any given time? What's your average?
And escrow, if you're talking personally, I kind of scale back with this team because I have to focus so much on them. But personally, I kind of focus more on my listing side. So like right now, like 10 at the least, like 10. I'm just used to always having a lot of volume at the same time. So it could be listings, it could be, typically it's listings, buyers, I do commercial sometimes too. So I have commercial property too. So at least 10 always in pipeline. Sometimes it's a lot more, just depends. But as a team, we're running about 20 deals, 20 to 25 deals pipeline.
Okay. Well, and that takes a lot of work keeping all those deals going. And you're putting in, I would guess, 40, 50, 60 hours a week sometimes.
Yes. So I actually have an office, as you can see. So working and going to the office every day is just a habit for me. So, I come in the office after I drop my daughter off to school, and I'm in the office till, let's say, 3 o'clock, from 8 to 3. Then I go home, take a break, do the mom thing, and I'm probably back in my home office, back on the computer doing something. So, yeah, I mean, you're a realtor, you're an entrepreneur. Anytime my phone rings, I answer it. So, pretty much my life.
Well, good stuff. Well, last question.
Okay.
If there was, what one piece of advice would you give a newer to real estate agent at EXP? What would be a piece of advice you might give to an agent?
Lean in, take the classes, learn your skill, take the time to learn your skill, and try to make the major events. Because one thing, like you might not be where you want to be in your business, but just being around people who are, it's motivational. It will get you back. My first year at ESPCon, I came back and I was ready to rock. I was ready to sell and work 20 hours a day if I had to. So lean in, learn your skill, really take the time to learn your skill, and learn your skill from whoever, if it's a class available, take it. It's an hour, it's 30 minutes. Classes are not that long. Please learn your skill and learn what all EXP has to offer, because, you can make money in so many different ways with real estate. And, your niche, it takes a while to find a niche. So, if you lean in and you get to those classes and learn about commercial real estate a little bit, learn about, working with sellers, learn about working with buyers, learn about different techniques people use in their business. I learn from everyone, and I take a little piece from everything I hear, so it's just good to hear and learn. And one of the best things that I have been afforded is meeting EXP agents from all across America. And just like the way they do business, it sometimes it applies to Michigan and sometimes it don't, but it's just like an aha moment, like, oh, wow. And that's how you get your business? Like, oh, okay. It just helps you, and it helps you grow.
Awesome. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast here. A lot of great stuff here. Obviously, you've done phenomenal. Congratulations on your success. And people want to get a hold of you or find your website. I think you're DanielleDunham.com. Is that your web address?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And obviously, you're with EXP, so people can find you here. And with that, thank you again for jumping on. I really enjoyed it. And till we hopefully get a chance to see you at the next EXPCon.
Yes, in Miami. All right. See ya. Thank you so much for having me.
Good stuff. Thanks, everyone.